The Beckham family drama just exploded in a way no one saw coming. And this time, it's not about catwalks, flashy premieres, or missed reunions. It's about a baby that doesn't even exist yet, a growing silence between loved ones, and a family that's clearly drifting in different directions. Brooklyn and Nicola Beckham might be dreaming of expanding their family, but the rest of the Beckhams, their reactions say everything without a single word being spoken. At the center of this storm is a revelation that hit like a thunderclap. Brooklyn and Nicola aren't just daydreaming about the idea of adoption, they're actually planning it, seriously and intentionally. For David and Victoria Beckham, who've always spoken about how sacred family is to them, this revelation reportedly hit harder than any feud, rumor, or tabloid headline before. Brooklyn has been open about where his heart is, and it's with Nicola, full stop. He's talked about finding peace, keeping their private life private, and building a family away from fame's nonstop spotlight. And in that vision, adoption isn't just a maybe, it's something he and Nicola are completely united on. They've spent countless nights discussing it. They've shared their dream of a big family, and even mentioned wanting to use their wealth and privilege to change a child's life for the better. But here's where things take a twist, because this potential first grandchild wouldn't just be a blessing for Brooklyn and Nicola, it could completely shift the entire Beckham family dynamic.
Describe my ideal wedding.
Probably our two families, very small, very petite, very lovely, colors, light, your favorite colors, light pink, light blue, creams. That's kind of like that.
This whole situation just shows how far Brooklyn has drifted from his parents, and people close to the family are saying it's heartbreaking. David and Victoria have always dreamed about becoming grandparents. It's something they've looked forward to quietly for years. So hearing that their son might bring a child into the world, adopted or not, without them being part of it at all, that's reportedly crushed them. But don't get it twisted, not every bridge has gone up in flames just yet. Behind closed doors, there's still one person working in the shadows, carefully moving between both sides. This person listens more than they talk, avoids drama, and refuses to make things worse. They're not chasing attention or sympathy, they just believe that broken families don't heal through shouting matches, but through patience, space, and time.
What's the best piece of advice you've received from each other?
Work hard, be nice to people.
I like when you say...
Be happy.
Yeah, but I also like when you're like, follow your heart. I know this sounds cheesy, or go with your gut. Because sometimes I feel like your head is like overthinking and your heart is like super emotional. But I feel like your gut is just that like intuition that you just go with.
Even now, as Brooklyn and Nicola's adoption talks keep moving forward and everyone's emotions stay on edge, that quiet peacemaker hasn't given up. But what makes it sting even more is how this rift has unfolded, not through family sit-downs or heart-to-heart talks, but through subtle public moves that speak volumes. And one of the loudest signs yet? Brooklyn's tattoos. In recent weeks, fans have noticed he's been removing or covering several tattoos that once showed his bond with his family, pieces that used to be symbols of love, now quietly fading away. It's like every ink change tells a story of distance that words can't hide. Tattoos once dedicated to his dad, ink that honored his siblings, and symbols that marked his place as the eldest Beckham son, all slowly vanishing. That famous anchor tattoo that used to say Dad, it's now stripped of its meaning, the words fading like the bond itself. Even the sentimental message, "Love you bust," David Beckham's longtime nickname for his son, has almost disappeared, barely readable anymore.
What is my night routine?
So she puts on this little robe, and then she puts her hair up on one of these stretchy bandanas things, so her hair's outside of her face.
Other family tattoos have been covered up or replaced with new art, as if he's rewriting his own story right on his skin. The only ones untouched, the tattoos devoted to Nicola, and that's what has everyone talking. To outsiders, this doesn't just look like a style change, it feels personal, almost symbolic, like Brooklyn is carving out a new identity, one that's no longer tied to being a Beckham first and everything else second. He said himself that stepping away from his family has brought him peace. He's spoken about anxiety, control, and wanting freedom, saying that cutting contact wasn't about rebellion, but about protecting his mental health. From his point of view, removing those family symbols isn't erasing love, it's surviving in his own way. But while Brooklyn is shedding his past, the rest of the Beckhams seem to be sticking even closer together. Just days after word of the adoption plans surfaced, David Beckham was spotted doing something surprisingly ordinary, grabbing a quiet lunch with his mother and sister. No flashy entourage, no cameras invited, just a plate of pie and mash at one of his favorite down-to-earth spots. The photo said everything without a single caption.
Which of you has the best style? I think she does. That's when I first met her. I thought she had really cool style. She always wears she always wears platforms, even walking to bed, and I love that.
David sitting between the two women who've stood by him long before fame, fortune, or family drama ever existed. The timing was impossible to ignore. While Brooklyn is building a life that may not include his parents, David is holding tight to the family members who never left his corner. The one person quietly trying to keep the Beckham family from completely falling apart isn't who most people would expect. It's David Beckham's mother, Sandra Beckham. While public stances have hardened and direct communication has fallen apart, Sandra has stayed steady, keeping calm and reaching out to both sides. She's the glue still trying to hold the family together, refusing to let this feud become permanent. People close to the family say Sandra won't pick sides, no matter how messy things get. Her focus is simple, keeping the lines open and the love alive, especially now that talk of adoption is becoming more than just talk. For her, it's about one belief that runs deep, that families should never lose each other forever. Meanwhile, the rest of the Beckham clan is still showing up publicly, acting like everything is normal, even though tension is bubbling just beneath the surface. Cruz Beckham, the youngest of the bunch, recently grabbed attention with a bold social media post to promote his music. It was cheeky, controversial, and totally on brand for a 20-year-old trying to make a name for himself on his own terms. But what really got people talking wasn't the post, it was the reaction. Romeo Beckham dropped into the comments with laughing emojis, a simple move that spoke volumes. In a family where silence has become the loudest sound, that tiny moment of brotherly support stood out in a big way. Cruz's post couldn't have come at a more intense time, right as Brooklyn has been accusing his family of caring more about their image and brand than real connection. For critics watching from the sidelines, the contrast was impossible to miss. One brother chasing freedom and peace, while the rest seemed to be performing unity for the world to see. While Brooklyn pulls further away from what people call the Beckham machine, that machine keeps running at full speed. The family brand is still promoting music, backing new projects, and showing off a picture-perfect unity, at least on the surface. But while the Beckhams carry on, the Peltz side has quietly entered the conversation too.
Right after the news about Brooklyn and Nicola's adoption plans hit the headlines, Nicola's sister posted something that sent fans into overdrive. It wasn't a direct statement, no names mentioned, but the timing? It said everything. The post talked about trusting your dreams and believing that what's in your heart is there for a reason. A clear message of quiet strength and loyalty. To many, it felt like subtle but powerful support for Nicola and Brooklyn as they face one of the most personal choices of their lives under a harsh public spotlight. Nicola has always been deeply connected to her family. They show up for her, stay close, and present a united front. And that's what makes the contrast between the Beckhams and the Peltzes so striking. On one side, unity and understanding. On the other, distance and silence. It's more than just a disagreement now. It's a full-blown clash between two very different ideas of family, loyalty, and independence, all playing out for the world to see. Brooklyn and Nicola are focused on their own path, planning for children, exploring adoption, and building a life on their own terms. Meanwhile, David and Victoria are facing a painful truth. The family they built so carefully might no longer include their eldest son in the same way it once did. And yet, behind all the tension, there's still a flicker of hope. Sources say one family member is still quietly trying to keep those lines of communication open, someone who understands both sides and refuses to believe that every bridge has to stay burned. Their effort isn't public, it's not loud, and it hasn't healed the rift, at least not yet, but it's still there, quietly fighting to keep the family from falling apart completely. As Brooklyn and Nicola move closer to the idea of adoption, the tension within the Beckham family has hit an all-time high. Because when a child enters the picture, everything shifts, forever. The real question now isn't just can the Beckhams make peace, but will they even get the chance to try? That's what makes this moment so powerful and so painful. Adoption isn't just a headline or a passing trend, it's a life-changing commitment. It's a step that permanently reshapes what family means, forcing everyone to face new roles, new boundaries, and a new reality they can't control. And for David and Victoria Beckham, insiders say that truth is finally hitting hard. Sources close to the couple reveal that the thought of Brooklyn becoming a dad, especially through adoption, has left them tangled in emotions. There's pride, because they've always dreamed of becoming grandparents, but there's also heartbreak, knowing they might not be part of that child's life at all. And underneath it all, there's fear, because once a grandchild exists beyond their reach, fixing the family bond becomes a lot harder. This isn't like the other Beckham disputes that eventually blew over with time. A child changes everything. Birthdays, first words, milestones, all of it moves forward whether the family is united or not. And from Brooklyn's point of view, that's exactly the purpose. He's made it clear before that his future family will look and feel nothing like the one he grew up in. For him, this isn't rebellion, it's renewal, a chance to build peace, privacy, and love on his own terms, even if it means closing a door that once seemed unbreakable. Brooklyn has opened up about the pressure, the anxiety, and that constant feeling of being controlled, and how stepping away from that world finally brought him peace. So when he talks about adoption, it's not about rebellion at all. It's about alignment, a shared vision between him and Nicola about the kind of parents they want to be. Nicola has said before that she dreams of having a big family, but always on her own terms. With her acting career still in full swing, biological kids aren't her immediate focus, which makes adoption not just meaningful, but realistic. And that's exactly what proves how serious this conversation has become. It's not a fantasy or a private what if. It's a plan that's been thought out, discussed, and agreed upon. Meanwhile, the silence from David and Victoria has become impossible to ignore. No statements, no denials, no open reactions, just quiet moves that seem to say more than words ever could. One of the most telling moments came when David was spotted sharing that quiet lunch with his mom and sister. No big show, no PR spin, just family comfort. It wasn't glamorous, but it was grounding, a return to his roots and to the people who've always held him steady when life gets heavy. Sandra Beckham especially has long been that rock for David, calm, steady, and loyal through every high and low. So when things fall apart, it's no surprise that he turns back to her and that sense of home. Victoria, on the other hand, seems to be throwing herself into work and the spotlight again. To some, it looks like strength and resilience. To others, like she's keeping busy to avoid facing the family tension head-on. Either way, it shows a family in motion, not sitting still, not breaking down, just pushing forward however they can. And inside the Beckham home, the attention seems to have shifted to the kids still under their roof, especially Cruz. His bold, cheeky music promo didn't just light up social media, it reminded everyone that the rest of the Beckham family is moving forward loudly, confidently, and without hesitation. To Brooklyn supporters, this looks like proof of what he's been saying all along, that the Beckham image and brand always come first. But to those standing with David and Victoria, it's seen as something entirely different, just parents proudly backing a son who still wants their love and attention. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise lies the real truth. Romeo's playful comment under Cruz's post added a rare touch of warmth and humor, a glimpse of the sibling bond that still exists among the younger Beckhams.
But that same moment also made one thing painfully clear. Brooklyn has been missing from these interactions for months. His silence and absence online make his tattoo removals feel even more symbolic, because for him, tattoos aren't just decoration, they've always been deeply personal.
Every piece of ink on his body once told a story of loyalty, of family, of who he was. So now, when he covers or removes those marks, it's not random, it's deliberate. It's him rewriting his identity, stripping away the Beckham label to create his own name, his own version of loyalty, his own peace. And what remains untouched? Every symbol tied to Nicola. Her name, her face, her designs, all still proudly visible. She's become his anchor, his steady point when everything else feels unstable. And her support? It hasn't wavered once. That cryptic post from her sister wasn't angry or defensive. It carried quiet strength. It spoke of trust, belief, and purpose in the middle of all the noise. It felt like a calm voice saying, "We've got this." And while the Beckhams continued to live in the public eye, the Peltz family has kept things low-key, standing strong in the background, united and solid when it matters most. That contrast between the two families hasn't gone unnoticed. Brooklyn himself has openly praised his in-laws for giving him the peace and acceptance he says he didn't always feel elsewhere. Whether that's fair or not, that feeling has clearly shaped how he's choosing to move forward, calmer, quieter, and firmly rooted in Nicola's world. And now, behind all the headlines and drama, there's one person quietly standing out as the most crucial figure in this entire family saga. Someone who stayed completely neutral, a true bridge between both sides of the feud. This Beckham family member hasn't made public statements, hasn't posted cryptic messages, and definitely hasn't tried to sway opinions online. Instead, they've been moving in silence, keeping fragile lines of communication open with care, patience, and no pressure. It's a delicate balancing act, one that takes real restraint, because one wrong word could make the situation spiral even further. Still, their efforts continue quietly in the background, showing that not everyone in the Beckham circle has given up hope. So far, that bridge hasn't brought full reconciliation. Brooklyn is standing firm in his decision to live life on his own terms. David and Victoria, though deeply hurt, are staying composed and measured in public. And Nicola remains the emotional heartbeat of Brooklyn's world, steady, protective, and unshakable by the outside noise. But the presence of that one quiet peacemaker means something powerful, that even with the distance, the silence, and the heartbreak, the story of the Beckham family isn't finished yet. There's still a thread connecting them, thin but unbroken, hinting that maybe, just maybe, this family's next chapter could still bring them back together. Not yet, there's still time, but time itself isn't neutral in moments like this. If Brooklyn and Nicola truly move forward with adoption, everything speeds up fast. What once felt distant and theoretical suddenly becomes real, raw, and impossible to avoid. Emotions that were being quietly pushed aside will come crashing to the surface, ready or not. The biggest question now: will David and Victoria hear the news privately from their son, or will they find out through headlines and social media like everyone else? And when that moment comes, will the walls finally come down, or will those emotional boundaries grow even higher? And maybe the most heartbreaking question of all: if a child does join Brooklyn and Nicola's world, will that little one ever know the Beckham grandparents? For now, there are no clear answers, only subtle signals. Brooklyn is looking ahead, determined to protect his peace. David seems to be looking inward, finding strength in his roots. Nicola is standing firm, holding her ground beside the man she loves. And the family as a whole? Still suspended between old wounds and an uncertain future.
What started as a personal falling out has evolved into something much deeper, a clash over legacy, control, and the meaning of independence. It's about what it really takes to build a family your own way, even when it means breaking from the one you came from. And as this story continues to unfold, one truth stands out above all else. Once children enter the picture, nothing stays hypothetical. Every decision, every silence, every word becomes permanent. Whatever happens next won't just shape Brooklyn and Nicola's future, it will change the Beckham family forever. What do you think will happen next? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe for more updates, and don't forget to share this story with someone who's been following the Beckham drama.